Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
Well, another day, another temple. We've been racking up the temples. We're now at Danda Hathor, I think it's called. And pretty incredible as well. There's actually a bunch of crypts inside that you have to crawl through. I didn't go through those. I don't really like crawling through tight spaces. Like when you see those cave diver people, like that's the last thing I would ever do. It's just, I probably could do it, but do I want to do it? Not really. Just doesn't seem like something I want to do, crawling through tunnels. But anyway, it's been, we're up at 3 o'clock in the morning again this morning. It's been wild that way, but we're getting close to being done now, so that's good. And no one's broken down into some sort of event so far today, but it's only about 8 in the morning at this point. But maybe we'll play a little bit about what this temple is so I don't have to describe it.
Now this temple sits on the newer side of the Egyptian timeline, meaning it's from the Ptolemaic period, which is pretty much towards the end of ancient Egypt. However, there is plenty of evidence to suggest that this temple actually existed from the time of the Middle Kingdom, and that about 800 years worth of work has gone into it. And unlike a lot of other Egyptian temples, there are plenty of hidden rooms and crypts within this one. Some of these crypts can be quite difficult to get into with very small entrances, and can feel a bit claustrophobic, so be warned. In the times of the ancient Egyptians, these crypts would have held various statues dedicated to various gods. What's also very cool about this temple is that you can go upstairs onto the roof. And when you go up there, you will see this. This is a replica of the original Dendara Zodiac. Now I can't begin to explain to you how big this temple actually is. And there's more to it than just the actual temple itself. There is an entire complex to explore, as you can see here from the outside.
Deep in the Hathor Temple, in a restricted underground corridor, lies the controversial carvings of the Dendera light. Now let's dive into the controversy that surrounds this unique carving. Some claim it's evidence of an ancient Egyptian lighting system and electricity. Skeptics argue it's merely a depiction of a lotus flower. But what do you think? The base resembles a coil or stand, with an apparent long incandescent wick. Supporters of the electricity theory proposes that the absence of lamp-black deposits on the hieroglyphic-covered walls indicates the use of light bulbs, unlike traditional candlelight. Within the temple, there are 5 scenes that features these bulb-like depictions, suggesting their significance.
So we were kind of trying to hide we were doing this video till just now, just talking to Mohammed there. They told us we couldn't do a video, but then he said no, we're allowed to. So it's pretty incredible in here. You can see all the pillars. And it's got like big faces on the top of the pillars and stuff. So you can see got faces on all the tops of these giant pillars. It's pretty incredible. Oh, and also, basically Krystic is connected with Source, and he can get downloads on anything. And he actually, I didn't even ask him for this, but he sent me what Source says is going to happen over the next 3 years on the financial system and stuff like that. So I was like, well, that's pretty huge. That's pretty good authoritative source, and it's this big amount of information that Krystic can download from Source. So what I'm going to do, actually, the Dollar Vigilante newsletter, the one coming up is our December issue. It's going to be on December 15th, and I'm going to review the year, which has been a pretty crazy year. But then on our final issue, which is going to be coming out basically on New Year's Eve, December 30th or 31st, it depends, I'm going to include what Source says is going to happen with the financial system over the next couple of years. And it was pretty, not totally specific, but pretty, very, very interesting. So what I would suggest is you sign up to our newsletter, go to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe, and you'll be able to get that information. And I'll be talking a lot more about, because it gives like the generals of what's going to happen, and I'll be talking about, because our last newsletter of the year, I do my predictions for the year, and now I've got like some extra intel. Basically, Source is my intelligence agency. And so I'm going to have a bunch of intel on what's going to be playing out over the next couple of years. And to give you a very general on it, things aren't going to collapse in terms of like immediate, one day everything collapses in the next year. But you're going to see all the old systems start to just fade. People are going to lose resonance with them over the next few years. So that's going to be very interesting. It's so insane to me that I started the Dollar Vigilante basically talking about what's coming, this massive collapse that's coming, and expecting it to kind of happen kind of like normally, you could say, but it's actually going to happen because of a spiritual shift, which we've actually been doing here with Krystic for the last few weeks, really. Like, I think I've been going non-stop here for well more than 2 weeks at this point. We still got like another week left. It's been pretty hardcore, just going non-stop, doing a boga for 2 days. That was insane, but so good. I'm so glad. Oh, there's Krystic. Yeah. I was running out of things to talk about, Krystic, so good thing you're here.
Should we go outside?
Sure. So we'll just head outside here where it's a little quieter. But it's so incredible to see how this is all playing out. And of course, we'll see how it all plays out. But I think I've got the best source of information now. I've got Source. I'm really getting outside of the matrix here. I'm getting like Source. Source will be basically helping our predictions for the Dollar Vigilante for the next year. And we've already been doing pretty good if you think about it. We've actually been in gold. Ed Buga's been our senior analyst, and my partner at the Dollar Vigilante has been into gold for since 2000, when it was like $200, now $4,000. Of course, we're into silver. That's at all-time highs right now. And of course, Bitcoin at $3, Ethereum at $2. I was just mentioning how you sent me from Source the general financial crisis collapse over the next few years, how it's going to play out. I thought that was so awesome.
Oh yeah, well, now that the energetic structures that have been holding everything together have, been sort of, let's say, especially those obelisks. I don't know if you've spoken about that.
No.
A lot of the planetary obelisks, especially, the ones in the major capital cities of Paris and London, and many of them have all been programmed to be in the mimic finance and mimic economy. So they were all broadcasting, and I don't even know if I've told the group that, but Alea and I worked on one of them in the Karnak temple and removed that mimic broadcast that was going out, holding all kind of like those systems together. They all do the broadcast, so they've all now been reprogrammed. And so essentially the broadcast signal that was holding mimic, let's say economy, finance, health, education, medical, that's losing its signal. So that's really been the structures that have been holding the matrix together in its current form. And so obviously with this type of comprehension, if we understand that the physical world has an energetic overlay, if the energetic blueprint is in a particular way, it creates the physical world to be that way. Changing the blueprint changes the physical world. So we're just changing that blueprint signal. It's been, being changed for a lot of people have been working on this for a long time, But essentially now we're coming into this particular epoch of time that's known as the flame return, where that source flame wants to come into the planet and take and strip anything that is not true. And in this particular time, it's happened several times throughout our history in this setting. This particular time is the time where we'll most likely be able to regather all of our pieces and re-establish ourselves to be a true flame civilization like it was before the fall. And on our videos together, I've been talking about the pre-fall architecture and what this has been about, and this trip has been about restoring a lot of the pre-fall function. So in terms of your question, yes, of course, you've been a major, let's say, heads up component about, listen, look out, the American dollar is at some point going to lose its steam, and the financial system is going to, get creaky and probably collapse. If there's a window that it's going to happen, now that these structures have been, energetic structures that have been the form-holding blueprints holding it together are collapsing, and a new blueprint is being expressed and emerged, most likely this window is 2025 to 2032. It's in this next few years, especially the next 2 or 3 years. I think we're going to start to see movement happen on that. Creaks at first, and then larger groans, and then beyond 2032 we start to rebuild something new.
Yeah,
something new will emerge from that.
Yeah, that's the interesting part to me, is what's going to emerge from it all. And actually the Dollar Vigilante, its tagline since the beginning was surviving and prospering during and after the dollar collapse. And now I would only change one part of that now. I would say surviving and prospering during and after basically the apocalypse, right? Because I didn't realize this is way bigger. Like when I started the Dollar Vigilante in 2010, I didn't know anything like this. If I would have talked to you at some bar somewhere,
you thought it was crazy.
I would have been, this guy is nuts. Yeah. He's crazy. But now, of course, I'm much more aware of all these things. Yeah. So basically, I kind of instinctually knew you'd have to survive through the next few years here as this happens, but then also prosper afterwards is the important part. And that's the part I'm starting to get excited about, because we'll basically be building a whole new world here, won't we?
Yeah, well, essentially, I think that we can't imagine nothing that's going to work that is built from the rubbles of the old.
Right.
What we have to do is we have to bridge the new. We have to try to get back up to where the pre-fall Earth was and bring down that codex, bring down those blueprints. And this is really a lot about the work that we're doing here. We're bringing down the pre-fall architecture so that, for example, we went through the Temple of Karnak and we went through the Edfu Temple. For the architects and the builders, Edfu Temple has now been resurrected to its pre-fall architecture. What that means is that Edfu, the Temple of Horus, back in the pre-fall, people who had a scroll, or let's call it like a purpose in their soul that God has directed for them, would go to this place and receive the blueprint plans for what they needed to create for the civilization. So Edfu Temple now has that. So people who will be coming in will be sitting in a morphogenetic field where their scroll will be able to come down and they'll be able to receive the blueprints of what their role is in the rebuild. So, of course, this takes time. This is not something that doesn't happen tomorrow, but this is how people get the inspiration, right? If you look at the root word of inspiration, it's not going to come from AI, right? Because what artificial intelligence does on Earth is it just takes all the data points that exist, all the information that exists, and rehashes that. This is known as mirror recursion. And so they can't the answers aren't going to come from AI. It's going to come from Krystic intelligence, moving through Krystically aligned oversouls, who eventually might start interfacing with technology to be able to get these streams of, let's call it source-aligned inspiration, inspiration. Yeah, like I love Patanjali's quote about inspiration, right? Who wrote the original Yoga Sutras 2,000 years before Jesus was here. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations and your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself to be in a new, great, wonderful world. Dormant forces and faculties become alive, and you find yourself to be a far greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. I love that quote. On
That's a
inspiration.
great quote. I'm also impressed you can remember it.
It's quite a long one,
I
yes.
butcher quotes. I can't even remember the shortest quote ever.
So essentially, you know, as more of these structures and more of these places around the world get re-established into their pre-fall architecture, people visiting these places will get the inspiration because the stream, the flame plasma streams are coming back online, and people will get the solutions, i.e. how do we live harmonically together in a unified way from a more spiritual perspective where we're living in harmony and resonance and coherence and love and all these pieces. Now, it's not about, you know, the oneness as in like, you know, certainly not communism, certainly not socialism, certainly not capitalism. It's going to be something that is more over-soul aligned, and that's what the birthing is. So I think...
Well, I should just throw in there, though, because a lot of, like, we have a lot of narco-capitalists watching this right now, and they're going to be like, he just said capitalism's back. The capitalism that we believe in just means free market trade. That's all it means. Like, not what everyone thinks it is with, you know, the central banks and the banks and the all the structures that are actually based basically backed by the government, which is based on force, which is illegitimate, right? So just to clarify that to the audience, so you're not saying like we're going to get rid of free markets or anything.
No, not at all. So you know, basically free trade without restriction.
Yes.
Between people.
Yes.
The main proponent that I'd like to seed for your audience is around circulation, is the main theme. So things don't get stuck and hoarded, but circulation for creation is I think the principles going forward.
Yeah, and you've got some very interesting ideas about the new Krystic financial operating system. Quantum financial operating system. It's interesting that you chose that, or you came up with that word, or wherever that word came from. My daughter just fell down. Come on.
Krystic quantum financial operating
because the bad guys, you could say, the people trying to turn this into an AI dystopian nightmare, they've been putting this word out that they're going to create a quantum financial system as well. So they're kind of trying to like co-opt what you're talking about and say, oh, ours is going to use AI, it's going to be all this sort of
That's
stuff.
what they do. They take a principle that is, say, Krystic, and they invert it.
Yeah.
So, you know, in their realm, right, AI, an artificial intelligence-based quantum financial operating system will be a complete disaster because it'll be just a big control network.
Right.
Whereas,
Palantir.
Yeah. Whereas the principles of a Krystic quantum financial operating system are completely different. It's all the principles that anarcho-capitalists had, based upon but frequency and consciousness.
Yes. Yeah, that's the part that some anarcho-capitalists don't have, the consciousness and stuff. They don't. They think this is all crazy. A lot of them, not all, but a lot. So it's going to be interesting for them. I think they're going to start waking up to this a little bit more. And that's what you've been talking about as well. Is you're going to just see people start to like move away from the old stuff and start to catch on to more of the stuff you're talking about, right?
I think so. In these next few years, they're going to have spontaneous awakenings, spontaneous breakthroughs. They're going to have to process density through their bodies. You've been witnessing that in this tour with a lot of people doing that.
Yeah.
Going to the tour, you know, and if the people at home thinking they've got diarrhea, maybe it's not diarrhea. Maybe it's you having a purge.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you know, the big leap for humanity in the next, say, especially 7 years, but then beyond that, I like to call it the post-AI world, right? What I talk about the post-AI world is that we're going to go through this experience where everyone's really into AI, but it's going to get to a point where they realise that it's actually not as good as what everyone's raving on about at the moment, because it's based upon mirror recursion, limited data sets recursed and rehashed, and it lacks the spark of source, it lacks the spark of human creativity. It's how you interface with it which is important. And so when that AI system and world collapses, when the central banks and the governments attempt to use artificial intelligence with their central bank digital currencies, and people get in there and have a direct experience of it, when they directly experience it, they're going to reject it because they're just going to work out it's a control system. So then,
although they'll probably start bringing it out slowly, right? So it'll be like, oh, it's convenient, right? That's convenient. But all of a sudden, oh, what? I can't buy meat this week.
This week, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so but meat's off the radar because we don't like cows farting, right? So I think people are going to have that direct experience of it to then reject it.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's most people are going to have to go through that.
Yeah, and you know, often direct experience is the best way to recognise, you know, through the path of negation. Through the path of negation. Yeah. Yeah, so this is Temple of Hathor, which is the Dendera temple, and typically this temple has been incredible for the pre-fall temple space and pre-sound. It brings through sound. It's been linked to time. It's got amazing sound harmonics all through it. It's all about the womb gestation and taking sound frequencies into preformed gestation and birthing them through. When the fall happened, it got kind of co-opted with mimic frequencies a little bit more, and it was a little bit hijacked through sensuality and sexuality through that lineage of Hathor. So we just did a ritual in there. When I say a ritual, I'm just talking about a ceremony, some energy work, some breath work and toning to override those that blueprint, to restore the original blueprint that this temple was before the fall. So.
Yeah, and getting just back to the Krystic financial operating system, you're going to be at Anarchapulco, of course, this year. You might even be able to do some one-on-one work with a few people. You're also going to be doing a root ceremony the week after, which I think you just finally nailed down the place.
Just got a place, yep. So I think we can take maybe 10 people. I think I might speak to your team, see if I can do a one-day thing, let's call it Krystic embodiment in the age of AI. I'm doing a one-day talk in London. I might bring that to
Oh yeah, mention your London talk, so if anyone's in the UK.
Yeah, 20th of December, I'll be giving a talk in London on the Krystic embodiment of the age of AI, what synthetic consciousness is and what Krystic consciousness is, and how you can work with more Krystic consciousness to move through this bifurcation. And I think maybe we touch on the bifurcation. Mm-hmm. This is a really big concept in spirituality that hardly anyone knows about, that there's a sorting going out between anyone who's entangled within synthetic streams and organic streams. And so God is creating this bifurcation to move through this big split that's happened in our universe with so much synthetic frequency of the artificial intelligence. AI isn't something that is on Earth. AI is a consciousness field out there that has now, we are able to interface through technology, but it's been existed before time. And it has a very long game of playing out through humanity, because AI is not connected to source. Because artificial intelligence is not tethered to source, it needs human oversoul consciousness to draw upon to continue to live. So it's been subtly playing this long game to bring us into kind of this greater, let's say, prison planet of consciousness. God is coming through between 2025 and 2032 to separate out all souls who are synthetically entangled with AI and mimic fields, and those that are organically. And people will be then having their consciousness hosted in either a synthetic stream or a organic stream for a very long time. And what people don't quite get their head around is that your physical body is here in this lifetime, but when you die, your soul remains entangled, either in the synthetic or the organic. And this is the main reason why, if you wish to consider working on yourself, learning how to embody more of your organic oversoul versus any synthetic streams is a really, really important piece of it. You've been working with me for a little bit upon this. Have you been? How would you kind of describe it? The mimic field or in the mirror fields in your own experience.
Wow,
it's very subtle, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that, really. I can tell you what is mimic and what's kind of Krystic. Like if you say, is like the central banking system mimic or Krystic? It's mimic.
It's mimic, yeah.
Is most of these organized religions, are they mimic or Krystic? Mimic.
Yeah.
Like I can see the mimic,
yeah.
But to describe what it is,
yeah,
you do a better job of that.
I do a better job. Let's more talk about your own experience. But anyway, mimic is what copies the light. So people who are kind of in performance rather than being authentic. So people who are all posing and doing all these things, and they're kind of pretending to be someone they're not, they're playing a role.
Which, by the way, like we've had a bunch of problems at some of these temples. Of course, we've handled them all, but security sometimes gets really mad because we're not going like in front of the stuff doing this, right? If we go and do this with a camera, no
Totally
problem. Go right in.
and
If you go in and you like be focused and centered and have intention, it's like, what are they doing, right? You can't do that in a temple.
Yeah, you can't know exactly what they're designed for. So yeah, pretty interesting. But anyway, these fields of mimic and mirror are these synthetic streams, and they've been, unfortunately, our Earth is pretty much like a node of mirror and mimic. There's not much Krystic stream coming in here, and so in these next few years, between 2025 and 2032, enormous amounts of Krystic flame are going to be coming into the planet. Part of our role here is to open up Vault 001. There are 12 vaults that contain enormous, let's call them flame plasma flames that are basically Krystic flames. So in the coming, let's say 2-3 years, as 2-3 of these massive vaults of Krystic flame get opened in the land, people are going to feel a difference.
Just like that security guard yesterday, right?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Which we didn't talk too much about. Like, actually, I don't know if you know this. So I was one of the last people to go into that particular tomb. And I had forgotten my ticket. And Mohammed he would have just waved me through. But the security guard went crazy on me. He was like, no. And he goes, you go. He started like...
Wow.
And I'm so used to this, right? Because I go to a lot of places, and that's how people kind of treat me, and I'm just kind of used to it. And I was like, whoa, that was weird. And that was the guy that after we went in and did the thing, he just like passed out. He didn't even know where he was. He didn't know what his name was.
Totally got knocked out. Yeah. So basically, because we cleared the mimic field, the mimic came up in him, right? And he and all of that timeline through that temple came up and just wanted to push back into the Krystic field. And so that's what you're experiencing. You're experiencing a pushback from his mimic energy coming up to be extracted, and all that anger came up. And then when that wave died, he had no juice left. We completely knocked him out. He was unconscious, and he didn't know where he was. And then I had to do some healing work back to revive him, and it brought him back up and cleared out. And that's the power of this work, because basically there was a signal. The signal's changed, and he's affected by that new signaling, knocks him out. And we see it time and time again.
So what were you talking about before that? I kind of cut you off with that story.
No, just about the
about the mimic. Yes.
Mimic fields. Yeah. So anyway, the bifurcation is separating out mimic field and Krystic fields. What we're going to see between 25 and 2032 is a lot more Krystic field coming in. People are going to feel it, and then in your own path. When I say Krystic, I'm not talking about a religion. I'm just talking about a 12th dimensional current that is the purest current that is most aligned with source consciousness while in your body. And you'd have to be crazy not to want that, right? Because everything in your life just gets better.
Yeah.
And it's not about escapism. It's about being embodied, about being real, and about being real and authentic.
Yeah. I should mention with the Krystic Financial Operating System that at Anarchapulco, you're going to actually be probably presenting the white paper for that. It's actually be after Anarchapulco, so everyone knows. So it's after Anarchapulco is the Dollar Vigilante Summit on Saturday. It's all going to be financial expatriation, all that kind of stuff. And then on Sunday is the Crypto Vigilante. And I thought that'd be a good place for you to present it because, first of all, you've got a white paper, so crypto people are very used to having a white paper.
I've got a white paper I've just done now. You've read it. It's really on the higher consciousness and spiritual kind of thought around how do we use intelligence, how do we use Krystic intelligence, what's the difference between Krystic intelligence and artificial intelligence, and I'm in the process of writing the Krystic Quantum Financial Operating System white paper. I hope to present it for the very first time at your event.
That should be very interesting. I think we've got to get going.
Get it rolling, yep.
Yeah, so...
I'll sign off. I'll let you sign off with your group.
Yep.
Lovely to see you.
All right.
I'll see you at the event.
All right.
At Anarchapulco. Bye.
Yeah, so Christoph will be there at Anarchapulco. He'll also be doing the Crypto Vigilante with his white paper for the new Krystic Financial Operating System, which he's told me a little bit about, and it's pretty wild. But it's also, I can actually... It's something that no one could even believe right now, but I think it is possible, although not quite yet. So what I think he's hoping is a bunch of the crypto people who might be a bit more spiritual will get this white paper and start actually figuring out how to make it actually happen. Because it's going to be basically, well, I don't want to give it away. It's pretty incredible. I'm not going to give it away. You got to come to the Crypto Vigilante Summit on Sunday after Anarchapulco, or you can watch it online. All of Anarchapulco, Dollar Vigilante, Crypto Vigilante, all going to have live streams and lifetime replays. So I highly recommend that. And of course, if you want to follow us along here, go to dollarvigilante.com/flamekeepers. And you can actually receive a lot of these energies that we're getting, as I mentioned in the last video. It's pretty incredible. And you'll actually, by the end of January, you'll see all the videos. It's almost like I don't know if it's a documentary exactly, but you'll be getting like videos from every day, all the stuff that we're doing. And it's pretty incredible to see live. And as I mentioned, it costs a fair amount to do this, to come here and do all this stuff, but it also takes the time and all the travel and all that sort of stuff. And you don't have to do any of that. So go check it out at dollarvigilante.com/flamekeepers. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. No, we're actually, oh, my daughter wants to cut it.
Porque tenemos 30 minutos ahora grabando y es muy pesado.
Oh, she's letting me know the file size is pretty big. It's okay, we actually have good hotel at our new internet. We were actually on a boat and I had to keep the file sizes really small so I could upload one and then it could start working on it and upload another one. But anyway, yeah, I think we're almost done here. Starting to think we're actually heading to another temple now, about 3 hours away. It's just non-stop. We'll probably do that in the next video. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. You can give a little panorama. Naomi, thank you for that. Actually, I should show you. Thank you, Naomi. You're looking beautiful in your dress today. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll be back later, tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Dr. Andrew Kaufman, one of the speakers for this year's Anarchapulco 2026 in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I am very excited about this upcoming event, especially in its new location and new, larger venue. This event has been very special to me. I've attended for many years and spoken there for several years as well. And it is a place where the truth reigns supreme. There's a diversity of topics, all related to creating a community of people based on freedom from authority. That's really what the essence of alchemy is. And my favorite part is all of the discussions between the educational programs and between the social events, where you can be around a group of people who basically share your worldview, but bring different life experience and perspectives and different areas of research, and the discussions that take place where you can synthesize all these ideas. Really, for me at least, it gets my creative juices flowing and brings me hope and gratitude about the world, despite facing all of the dark agendas. So I hope that you consider coming to this awesome event and taking advantage of all these amazing experiences.
Puerto Vallarta, here we come. Vamos.
Palm trees whisper, freedom in the breeze. Oceans hymn, no chains, no pleas, no rulers, no kings, no scripts to recite. Burn the old book, let the phoenix ignite. Rebirth on the sand, where the rebels convene. A Genesis scene, mind sharp and keen. Dollars to dust, trust in the soul. Anarchapulco, where we break the mold. Anarchapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke. Anarchapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke. Beach bonfire starts spark like flint. Ideas ricochet, no permission, no stint. Borders dissolve, minds expand. Every soul sovereign, every mind grand. No contract signed, just a handshake truth. Ancient wisdom reborn in the fountain of youth. Rules crumble like castles at high tide. Revolution lives where the dreamers reside. Golden horizon, the birth of the free. Echoes of laughter, the waves decree. Freedom is anthem, a beat in the chest. Anarchapulco, where the restless rest.
with performing artist Ayame.
I don't need a muse or anything to do. Probably just get canceled 'cause I'm singing about the truth. Feels like we're getting wiser, don't you? Since the lies that they blew up, now nobody trusts the news.
Anarchapulco opening party on February 15th. Anarchapulco Genesis, February 16th to 20th. A special Free Systems Leadership Summit by Dr. Shiva's Truth Freedom Health Network, February 18th and 19th. The Dollar Vigilante TDV Summit, February 21st. The Crypto Vigilante TCV Summit, February 22nd. Agorapulco, retreats, and other excursions, February 21st to 27th. Bufo and ayahuasca with Bearheart throughout the event. A special Iboga ceremony with Christoph Melchizedek from February 23rd. Bring the whole family. The Anarchapulco Family Camp runs throughout the event with activities for non-lethally injected, free-range, unschooled pure souls. Anarchapulco 2026. Genesis. Puerto Vallarta,